I've spent several years feeling inadequate, and recently I've overcome this emotion. So today I'm going to talk about signs to know that you're dealing with inadequacy, why it's a problem, why we should fix it, and how I deal with it. Let's start with what inadequacy is. Inadequacy is a feeling that we don't have qualities or abilities in order to do something. And the feeling itself causes issues, but it's mainly how we deal with that emotion that causes more issues. If you've ever felt jealous of someone, it's likely because they have something that you don't. In other words, you feel like you don't have the qualities to be someone else. If you get rejected from someone and you start wondering what you could have done better, in blunt terms, you feel like you weren't enough for the person. Inadequacy can show in harsher severity, so if you feel like you don't have the capabilities to do something just because you're yourself. In this sense, inadequacy itself is the reason why you aren't able to do things physically and mentally. These are some examples that came to the top of my head, but inadequacy shows in a lot of different forms, and I wouldn't be surprised if there are hundreds or thousands of different ways it affects people in a negative way. It's just a major problem. Inadequacy causes us to feel more insecure about ourselves. It makes us feel like we're a failure, like we're rejected, or we just don't have the abilities to do something. In general, it does a lot more bad than good in our lives. Particularly in my life, it's made me feel very insecure. Especially in middle school and high school, I was pretty unconfident with myself, and it was hard for me to make friends and be social. I would always think to myself that nobody would like me or nobody would think that my joke is funny, and so instead of trying, I just wouldn't try at all. And looking back at it, I would always give a reason as to why I would be insecure, or would give myself a reason to hide behind. So maybe today was a rainy day, so it just wasn't a good day to talk to people about the weather. Or maybe there was no homework, so instead of asking people what the homework was, I would just have nothing to talk about. On top of that, I feel like I convinced myself that I didn't need to talk to people, that I was okay with having little to no friends because I wanted a simple life, because all I needed was food on the table and a roof over my head. So in general, I feel like I was just hiding behind a lot of excuses, and I wasn't dealing with a lot of the social anxiety that I had. And for a very long time, since I wasn't really dealing with my issues, I also wasn't exploring things inside my head and in my personality that I could improve. I was looking at a lot of external factors, and in general, that stopped me from improving myself. And it took me a while to understand that I was very much adequate, that I had people around me that supported me and loved me and cared for me, and what made me not just good enough, but also special and important. It also made me downplay my achievements, so when I graduated from high school, college, when I got a job, I thought to myself that there are plenty of other people that are doing this, so it's not really a big deal. But it's crazy to think that that's the stigma for a lot of high achievers, and it's not the reality. I feel like because we felt that we were inadequate, we ended up desensitizing ourselves to what these achievements are. These achievements are amazing, and they're small little wins, and they're important to remember and to note. It's actually these small little moments that help build against the inadequacy and help you see that you aren't inadequate. I pulled some numbers off of Google, but it says here that 35% of people in the United States graduated college and 31% of people received job offers. And that's insane. So for people who think that it's normal to graduate college or get a job, it's not, and you're doing better than 70% of people. Also a disclaimer, I don't know how accurate those stats are. I just did a quick Google search. But the point is that you are achieving goals that other people aren't. And when you downplay these goals, it means that you also don't celebrate your small wins. And if you don't celebrate your small wins, then you're never going to believe in yourself and understand that you're very much special and adequate. If you don't celebrate these wins, you're going to feel stuck and frustrated. And you're going to feel like you're not making progress, but to the outside, everybody's going to be thinking that you're making great progress. People aren't seeing things through rose-tinted glasses. Maybe it's not believable if it's one person or two people that are telling you all of your achievements and all the great things that you're doing, but you're not crazy when you see the physical proof that you're doing well. Your teachers are telling you you're doing well, your friends are telling you you're doing well, your family telling you that you're doing well. The only person that doesn't tell you that you're doing well is yourself. And so you have to believe in that. You have to believe that you have the capabilities to do amazing things and that you've already have done amazing things. And so now you believe that you're doing great things, but the truth is that a lot of your achievements that you've done in the past has been because of inadequacy, because inadequacy is your motivation. And for me, that was my motivation for a long time too, but it's just the wrong motivation. I will say it once and maybe I'll say it in other videos, but do not make inadequacy your motivation for getting better. What you're doing is you're comparing yourself to other people and the expectations that other people put on you. Competition is a good thing, and maybe I'll save that for another video, but this type of competition is unhealthy. What I learned from this is if you make inadequacy your motivation, you're not really living your life. You're living someone else's. The goals that you're achieving were set by someone else. If someone wanted to race to the top of the mountain and you wanted to beat that person and race to the top of the mountain faster, your goal isn't even the same as the first person. When you reach the top of the mountain, you're not going to feel happy. You're going to feel emptiness, because after you reach the top, you won't know where you want to go next. You won't know which mountain you want to climb next. So find your own mountain to climb in life. Continue doing the goals that make you happy, because that way at least the journey is enjoyable, and when you get to the top, you'll know exactly where you want to go next. Now, I've been saying a lot of things, but I want to lay down some harsh truth for you guys. This is something that I've been dealing with for a very long time in my life, and it was hard for me to deal with alone. And so this is advice that I wish that I told my younger self so that I could get out of inadequacy faster. And the truth is that the only way to do that is through blunt, honest truth. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to understand where you've been, how you got to where you are, and just accept who you are. Just do your best to be proud of yourself. Now that you're reflecting on yourself, I want you to face reality and understand that you could do a lot more than you believe. Snap yourself out of the illusion that you're inadequate and that you can't achieve things and you're not capable of doing other things. When we feel inadequate and we feel this way, we end up doing nothing. Instead, we could use that time to learn the skills we need to be able to do the things that we want to do and to achieve the things that we wish we could do. Life is going to make things plenty hard for you. You don't need to make it harder on yourself. And I understand inadequacy is a hard thing to overcome. It's a hard thing because of how it makes you feel. On top of inadequacy, it makes you feel all those things of rejection, frustration, failure. The list goes on and on. Inadequacy could be hard to navigate through, so I'm going to tell you how I dealt with it, and hopefully it helps you too. I've refined this process over the years that I've been more confident in myself and felt way more than adequate, and so hopefully it'll help you too. The first thing is to identify why you feel inadequate. What is it that's causing you to feel like you're not good enough? If somebody has more money than you don't actually hate the person, or you're not actually jealous of the person. You wish that you had the money that they had. If they have better grades, if they have a better job, those are the things that you want. You don't actually care about the actual person themselves. So extract a lot of the things that you want out of the person. The next thing to do is some internal work. So you have to embrace the things that you've done and be proud of yourself, which I spoke about a little bit before. But in the step process, it is the second thing that you do. The reason why is because you need to acknowledge the resources that you have, whether it's your support system or the knowledge that you have or your access to different things like the internet. You need to understand that you do have the capabilities to reach the different things that that person has. You just have to use your resources to get there. And when you start doing this, you not only get ideas for how to reach the specific goals that you want to achieve, but you also realize something. A lot of times we end up comparing ourselves to people with similar physical capabilities, so the same age as us, the same way of life as us. And it's because we find familiarity in people that we listen to and we think to ourselves, oh, well, they seem similar to me, so why can't I do that myself? And so we start getting frustrated. We start wondering what we're doing wrong and how we're not doing enough and how this other person has all these other things that I wish I had. The truth is that there's very little differences in the physical capabilities between you and the person that you're comparing. The big difference is in your head, the mental capabilities that we have. So the main difference, they believe that they can achieve these goals and you don't. So don't let your mentality stop you from achieving great things. If you have a working brain and you have a functioning body, you can improve to be a better person. Now, hopefully after all of this work and all this thinking that you've done throughout this entire video, you've learned how to deal with inadequacy. Maybe you watch this video a few more times in your future, you end up achieving the goals that you want. You may even be equal or even beat the person that you were comparing yourself to initially. But there's one last thing that I wanted to talk about. Remember when we were talking about the mountains and deciding on which mountain to climb next? Well, this is my answer and my challenge so that you can find the next mountain in your life to climb. If you're comparing yourself to any person in the world, then compare yourself to the ideal version of yourself. If you could snap your fingers and make your life perfect, then what would it be like? Think about this person, reflect on why you aren't that person, and then go into the world, climb that mountain, and try to be that person. If you don't have the skills, you can learn them. Whatever the skill is, type in the search bar right above here, how to, and then your skill, and get started. Start taking control of your life and stop feeling inadequate. Anyways, that's all I had for this topic. If you're still having inadequacy issues and would like my help, I do offer life coaching sessions. There will be a form in the description below. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And as always, stay productive, keep improving, and I will see you next Friday. Peace.